What's up, Celi Hangout Village? Franceli here with another episode of Confessions of an Actor vlog series. It's been a while since I've done one of these. These are my confessions. I've been going through some things, as we all do in this journey. We have hills, we have valleys. Towards April, May, LA was just starting to really the weight was on me, you know. I was starting to have like a really low battery, and I was like, like pulling my hair out, which is why, you know, we all need breaks, times to recharge, regroup. So what have I been up to? What's been going on? Have I been doing any acting? Some cool stuff has happened since the last time I checked in, and some bad stuff has happened. Well, I wouldn't say bad stuff, right? Everything that happens for a reason, and it's all part of the learning process. So remember that play I told you guys about that I was really excited about being in? It didn't happen. Sometimes things come together and sometimes they don't. But I was very disappointed because as a theater kid, you know, I was like itching to get back on stage, and I felt like that was my opportunity, and it didn't happen. Oh well, there's a bigger and better blessing on its way and a bigger and better play for me to be in. So I'm just looking forward to what doors God's gonna open. But in the meantime, in between time, when that closed, it opened the opportunity and time to do some other things. So I was able to get on set with Myron Ward, who is shooting After Prom, which is a great romantic comedy with actors like us in it. I'm a huge romantic comedy fan. It's one of my favorite genres. I know, don't judge me.
Hey, this is After Prom presents Rom-Com Talks, where we talk about just rom-com universe stuff. I mean, whatever's on top of our mind.
But we're collaborating, and I was part of his Indiegogo promo video.
Wait, so you're telling us that this movie, After Prom, that you wrote and directed, is about a group of childhood friends that made a promise that if they're still virgins by senior prom,
that they'd sleep together?
Hold up. What kind of movie is this, right?
And then he became part of the Celi Hangout Village. And I met a beautiful actress on the set. Shout outs to Takia Anderson, who became part of the Celi Hangout Village as well. Those both episodes are on the page. If you haven't seen them, check them out. And Takia, you know, she wrote, produced her own short film that went to Cannes. So I was excited to be a part of that and support the rom-com movement. I went through a little period where I felt like my hands were getting more attention than my face. I'll explain. So I was going on like a whole bunch of hand modeling auditions, which was pretty cool. Something I'd never done before, but I had friends who were like, oh my God, you have really, really pretty hands. I don't know. I always felt like my hands were weird because they're so tiny. Like I have the smallest wrists, but apparently they're petite and very pretty, and the industry seems to like them. So I went on some really huge commercial auditions for hand modeling. So that was pretty cool. Adding that to my repertoire of things I go out for. Went to see some theater. Went to go see Immediate Family, directed by Felicia Rashad, which is amazing. And then reached out to the Center Theater Group. Love you guys over there. They're so hospitable, and they let me come back and interview the cast. If you didn't see that, go ahead and go watch it on the channel. But it was just an amazing experience to just be backstage and chop it up with some seasoned veteran actors who've been working the regional theater circuit and have come out to LA to put on this really provocative show. And it was just great to hang out with them. And I put on my producer's hat and produced a behind-the-scenes jazz series along with Bankole and Mujendai Entertainment, and that was so much fun. I got to interview some amazing jazz artists. And here at the E-Spot Lounge, and giving you the behind-the-scenes, we're inside the dressing room with the renowned, amazing violinist, Karen. I'm a huge jazz fan. I mean, I know jazz has like its own world, and I'm not really as well versed in what all of it means, but I'm so appreciative of the art and the music. New rules. I know I talked about it in my last confession. This screening happened for it at Sony Pictures. It was really amazing to go over to Sony and sit there and watch myself on screen. It's also a little nerve-wracking. Like, I sat all the way in the back of the theater, and it's like, is that really me? It was like my first time seeing myself on such a big screen. Big news, I got a car! Oh my God. One of the biggest things to really happen in LA. If you don't live in LA, you don't understand the struggle. But those who live in LA understand my struggle. The struggle was so real. And I know that in my last confession, I talked about feeling kind of like a fish out of water and not necessarily feeling like I had the village here that I had in New York. But I threw like this Memorial Day cookout and like 40 people came, and it was pretty amazing. All these positive vibes and people that I've been meeting along the journey here. And it's like, wait, you kind of do have a village here. You've made some groundings here and have established some really great footings and relationships. So throwing that cookout was just confirmation that things were starting to really bubble. But even with all of that happening, I was still starting to feel depleted in a certain kind of way. Like my energy, my motivation, my luster for being here was starting to... I felt my battery getting really, really low, and I wasn't sure why. I couldn't even pinpoint it or really explain it. And I know you artists out there can relate. We just have our moments, our valleys, where we're just like, man, why am I doing this? Tell me again the reason why I decided to either move here, be in this crazy business, financially be not where I'd like to be. I don't like to use the BROKE word. Our words are very powerful, and saying that word means that that's what I'll be. So I'm not that, but I'm definitely financially not in the abundance that I'd like to be, right? So that can get some trying and wearing and tearing on your spirit, and that's just kind of where I was. And then I left for 3 weeks. I went to the Dominican Republic, New York, DC, Virginia, and then back to LA. So for a total of 3 weeks, I was kind of MIA. Life happens, right? Not just the artistic journey, but your personal journey and the things you struggle with, and friendships and relationships and heartache and jobs and survival, and all of that was coming to its wit's end. Being in New York was much needed for the regroup. The ugly cries that I needed for the healing. Do it around people that really know me and love me and understand that being out here is tough. But my brother said something really amazing to me. So shout outs to Franceli Chapman, who told me, he's like, I'm really proud of you. You're brave for doing what you're doing. And don't worry about coming back here. You can always come back. The love for you will always be here when you get back. But just go. And I just needed that. I needed to hear that again. Sometimes you just need that affirmation and reassurance. During my 3-week break, what did I learn? What did I discover? A lot of things. I discovered that there had to be a serious transformation or breakthrough waiting for me in Los Angeles, because there was this tug trying to stop me from coming back. I really thought about not coming back. And that if I was going to come back to LA, this time around, LA had to be different. And it's not that the career had to be different. I knew that the change had to start with me, and that I needed to be different. My attitude had to change about the way I looked at it, looking at the lens very differently. And because we take things for granted, despite everything that I've accomplished, all the stuff that I've been through thus far being here, I still found myself not appreciating what I had, wanting more, bigger, better. What didn't I do? I was focused on all the wrong things. So I had to reposition my mind and wrap my mind around exactly what I had done, all I had accomplished, and just making sure that I stayed open and that I was free in my journey here, really just trusting the process. Being reminded that I have a place here, but even I have a place within myself. I went to the movies for the first time by myself. I know, don't judge me. But it's like, for me, movies has always been a group activity. And so I'd never really done that by myself, and really just enjoying my own company and what it means to do things by myself here in LA. So I decided that sewing into other people and investing in their journeys is very important. So I invested in Miles Maker's new film called If We Left. I couldn't make a huge investment, but I was happy to sow even the small seed that I could. And then in being surrounded by people who inspire you, if they do, why not sow into them? And I'm very inspired by a good friend of mine, Lenore, and I sewed into her and made a donation to her campaign. And actually not just sewed financially, but then went on a run with her and ran 5 miles.
Okay, so today I decided that I was gonna go running with Lenore because she's training for a marathon, right? So I was like, I'll join you on your jog. Hey guys, we're in Big Bear, beautiful Big Bear in California, and we were on a trail and ended up by the rocks. So this is what you call marathon training for real, because it's went from a mile run, well, 5 mile run, to an obstacle course. And we trying to find our way out. Anyway, I'll let y'all know how it goes. Peace out. Okay. So I just finished my 5 mile run with Lenore. I don't know what the frick I was thinking. Lenore.
She didn't
peppy.
sound good.
I'm dead.
It didn't sound good.
5 miles. I always said I wanted to work my way up to 5, and I just did it today.
You didn't sound
Well,
good.
accountability, good friends, running along marathon November 1st. Lenore, make sure you donate to her campaign. I'll put the link right at the bottom. Celi's Hangout. See y'all later.
First time I ever did that, and in doing that and being out there in this huge mountain trying to like finish these 5 miles and pushing my body to a limit that I didn't even know I could, I said, wow, my mind is much more powerful and there are things that I actually can do. And so I've decided that I'm gonna do the New York City Marathon. Next year though, not this year. This year I'm gonna cheer her on. Next year I'll do it. It'll be a good way to end this decade and go into the new decade of my life. I started a dance class, I started swimming, just keeping my body fit because eventually I'm going to have to train for this thing, right? 26 miles is a long way to run, and so I don't want to wait till I start training for my body to then be like, what are you doing? So just staying active now and doing little things here and there to help me get back into shape. But being back also gave me like a resurgence in Celi's Hangout. While I was in New York, I went to Boogie's event. Shout out to Boogie. And there I reunited with so many people from New York, from the artistic community that I got to see and laugh with. And they were asking me like, hey, you haven't dropped the Celi's Hangout episode in a while. And it had been a while. And I was just like, you're right. And just seeing people that have been supporting the journey and the movement for a while reminded me, hey, Celi, get back to it. I have an expansion coming. I'm super excited about a new addition to Celi's Hangout that I want to do. And it's tip-top secret right now, unless you got my email. And I will share with you guys soon on the channel what it is that I'm cooking up. But I'm just really, really stretching myself. And other people are stretching me too. I mean, I have 2 good friends, Zena and Dewey, shout outs to them, who have stretched me and asked me to shoot and edit their short film.
This is so unprofessional. Who works like this?
Much bigger task than I ever thought. I edit little things like Celi Hangout episodes, and I've edited reels, but to edit an entire short film, that's a serious task. And so I'm definitely rising to the occasion. Sometimes there are things that others see in you that you don't even see in yourself. I've been listening to Diary of a Working Actress by Iman Milner, and I just love her transparency. And one of the things that I heard on her blog or podcast that just confirmed some things for me, she said, even if no one is supporting your art is your art, and you should be doing it because you love it. And I was like, right. I remember when I first started this thing, I didn't think anyone would watch, and here I am over like 10,000 views later. And sometimes we get caught up in comparing ourselves to other people. Well, so-and-so has 1 million views and so-and-so has 1 million subscribers, but stay in your lane. And it's about knowing what you're doing and loving what you're doing. And I love Celi's Hangout, and God really just put it in my heart to do this thing and inspire and empower, and that's what I hope to continue to do.